Hello friends, I'm Marlon and this is MV Pittman Cross Sim Racing. Today I've got a follow-up to my right side up Simagic GT Alpha Neo video. So as you know, they have a really cool wheel and I have a really cool quick release, so I thought I'd put them together. The MagLink is the standard option for this, but I decided that I would use this USB port on the bottom to connect the wheel to the quick release and forget about the MagLink. So that's kind of the summary of a previous video. What I also said was that having this dangling was an option if you just needed to be able to plug any regular old USB male A-type cable into your quick release, like maybe you have a short cable from a lumber connector or something like that. So I made and designed this, and by design I mean I decided to take the 4-pin JST connector, wire it from this quick release, and then cut a cable and put this output on it. So, you know, not terribly difficult, but if you guys need to see a video about how to do that, let me know in the comments. So this is a JST connector, just like the one that goes in here, and this is a USB-C connector that goes into the port down here. And I picked one that was angled so that it doesn't get yanked or pressed or pulled out too much from here. And if you see here, this gold part is the spacer with the hole that allows this thing to come out. So today, I guess on camera, I am going to show how this panel comes off and I replace this cable so that there's only a little bit shown here. You don't have this extra bit dangling. So when you're driving, you're not like, oh, I snag the cable or whatever. Yeah, so let's get to it. No need to make this video longer than it's going to be, right? The panel in the back has 4 screws. I'm just going to use this, looks like an M3 hex wrench. So 4 of those are going to come off with a little bit of difficulty because I tightened it up, not wanting it to come loose. So I'll use the long end for leverage and turn 1 a little bit, turn 2 a little bit. As soon as I get that thing in there. Turn 3 a little bit, just to break them loose, and turn 4 a little bit. So once you break those loose, you can use the ball end at an angle to turn each of those enough that they hop up so that you know that they are loose and can be pulled out. And when you pull this out, you want to make sure you don't just yank it, because that USB port is still connected to the PCB inside of your wheel. So you just yank that out. You might recover, but it would be a real bad time. The board does have a connector on it, but I don't really care to remove it at this stage. I think you have to remove it anyway for the MagLink. So always put your tools down. Don't just throw them on the ground. Put them somewhere where you know you'll be able to access them later. So I'm going to put this cable in and run it through to the quick release. I wish I could hold this higher. Maybe if I got that overhead camera thing working, we'd be in a better position. Put that on the list along with the curtains. All right, so like I said, there's a cable in there that connects, and it probably disconnects from here. I guess let's just find out. Might make it a little easier. Yeah. So there's a little connector here that goes into your board, and I probably want to pay attention to the orientation. Hope it only goes in one way. Looks like the pins, the exposed pins are toward me, and it looks like there's a couple of notches there. So yeah, we should be fine on orientation. I'm going to pull these screws out. 4 of them, button head hex screws. these are M5 bolts, and that has to be an M3 wrench. So got that part figured out. If you don't have like a little bucket that's magnetized to hold your screws, get one, and then forget to use it, and you'll feel better about that. So for those you didn't see, this is the Simagic QR, and on the inside, this one was connected with 50.8 millimeter hole pattern. Let's see if I can show you on the inside of this quick release. So this one needs countersunk bolts so it can not have heads that interfere with the inside of the wheel. It's going to be this way since this is at the bottom. And then what I did, I just used 70 millimeter ones because my spacer has 70 millimeter holes. This gold one, which I guess I'll take off and show you too. And for this one, you'll need a 3 millimeter hex wrench as well. And I did my best to make it nice and tight so that my QR doesn't come loose and then I have to stop racing to make a change. Always try to get your wrench in securely before you turn it. Otherwise you strip the head and then you have a real bad time trying to put that back in. I need to replace these screws. These are 16 millimeters long, but the distance between here and here is, this one is more than 16. I think 20 would be, this is 8, this looks like about 8, and this is probably like 4, so 20 would go all the way down. I don't want it to stick out, but sticking out is probably better than you know, not being secure enough. But I chose to use 16, so it only goes in here about halfway. I couldn't find any, so got on Amazon and said, hey, deliver me some screws. Bolts. I don't know, people use bolts and screws interchangeably. I don't think that's the same thing, but I think they call them self-tapping screws, and I think that's a screw. If it doesn't have a pointed edge that cuts material, then I think it's a bolt, but I could be wrong. Anyway, this plate connects to the back of your wheel. This spacer has a little kink in it to keep the cable from getting yanked out so it doesn't mess up your PCB. And then I've got a long bit of cable coiled and tucked in here, and then on the inside is the PCB for that QR. So I'm going to gently pull out this. So this connects to the QR. It's a JST XH 2.54 connector, known pattern. So I know what the pinout is on that. I also know the pinout on this connector. So same pinout, line that up. And if you are one who lives dangerously like I do, then you know the orientation and you just shove that cable in there, or you press gently, or you disassemble this thing. Not gonna disassemble it. I know this cable works because I tested it outside of the mechanism with a different QR, a same kind, but a separate QR. And you know, make sure that's tight. If it's not, make sure you give it a gentle press. Sometimes you stick your finger in things blindly and good things happen. So this is gonna run through a spacer similar to this one, but this one is supposed to put things out at an angle but leave all the holes out. So you can see the 50.8 and 70 millimeter spacings and the speed holes that I put in there. The speed holes make you go faster. Like the speed holes in this spacer, right? Anyway, we got this. I'm gonna keep this part. I'm gonna put a new spacer on here, and then I'm gonna reconnect it to the plate, and I'm gonna connect the plate to the wheel. So let's get started with that. But I will show you the difference between this spacer and this spacer. So this one, I designed both of these, just had them 3D printed on my printer at home. These are both made out of PETG, although I'm sure PLA would work just fine. If your layers are going this way and you are compressing them, that's probably like the best scenario for layers. So don't try to print it at a 45-degree angle or something just to make sure it works. And definitely probably don't print it straight up. That's just a disaster waiting to happen. Although you could probably flatten one of those sides if you really, really need to do that. But PLA is plenty strong when you compress it that way. Anyway, what I did was basically delete one set of holes so that if I wanted this to come straight down, I could. But the QR on the wheel, I actually am going to want it to come out this way or this way because there's a connector right there. So straight down the bottom is no good. I actually want to turn it a little bit, and it still has to be lined up at the top. So probably something like that. So let's get to it. This cable right here needs to go through the spacer so it can go out and into the wheel. So make sure we know where the wheel is going to be oriented. And if you are smarter than me, you already did the work to make sure that you knew the orientation. But I'm not smarter than me, so I didn't do that. I know that the top of this QR is going to be up here. So like that. And then I want this hole to come down. I guess to the left is fine. I have to go to the left and then come back and then jut in. So I know I need some, but I don't know how much. Again, if I were smart, I would have measured. I'll look at it and eyeball it. I need enough, but not too much. So I'm going to take this excess and kind of give it a helix coil so that it fits inside the spacer so I get a reasonable length for this. And of course, if this angled adapter is not what you need, meaning, you know, if it went straight in, that would be fine too. So what I'm going to do is take this and weave it through this kink. And of course, if you don't like the kink, or if you feel like, you know, hey, who's out here yanking on my cable, you can just make your own spacer with no kink, kink-free spacer. And this channel that I put in here, the kinky channel, is 5 millimeters in width. And the spacer itself is 8 millimeters thick. So that's why I need 20 millimeter screws for this, but 16 will just barely work. And so sometimes you have a thick cable like this that's about 5 millimeters. Most USB cables are either like 3 or 4 or 5 millimeters. So this fits in there, presses flat, and holds your cable in place. So you're not worried about you know, it popping out or getting yanked or anything like that. So just like the other one was, pressed it in there, pressed it into position. It's 4 little wires inside of a thick sheath, so I'm not too worried about damaging this cable by kinking it. I'd be more worried about damaging the PCB either on your quick release or on your wheel by yanking the port. So yeah, this is all that's going to stick out, and then I'll plug it into the quick release. So this will come out at like 30 degrees and then come back and then plug right under there. So yeah, looking at this, this is about the right length because I know that the top will be here, and I know that it needs to come back and come into the middle like that. So yeah, I think that'll be just fine. Sometimes an eyeball measurement is sufficient. No need to get out the calipers for everything, but you know, an accurate measurement is usually the best one. And I think I turned that differently than I want. Nope. That'll be just fine right there. Okay, so having done that, having lined this up, take this, do it like that, do it like that. So we're going to go the wrong way if we do it that way. Do it like this. All right, you're gonna come in through here with a countersunk screw and screw all the way into the threaded hole on your spacer or quick release. So I'll grab those screws that I was using before. I only count 2. Oh, there's your third one. All right. So just drop it in, line it up. If you can't see it, just point through and you can see it barely. This would be a bad idea. I gotta get those screws before I use this. This thing barely goes through. It's like enough to catch it. So definitely get the right size screws for this, guys. When I pull this back out, I can replace it one at a time so that this gets on securely. Let's do the best we can with what we have. There we go. Just a little bit. Honestly, a little turn with your fingers is probably enough, but when you have an opportunity to use your tool, just use the tool, guys. All right, tighten that enough, and then get your other ones lined up. So you can see where that's gonna come out, you can see where that's gonna go in. Careful with your fingers. If you can't find the hole, just give it a little wiggle. These have to line up, they're on a circle, man. Yeah. Turn till it goes in. Nope. Although this does look suspicious. My fingers are hurting. Put this down and line this up with my eyeballs. Okay, this looks sus. Watching the timer. Yeah, that looks sus, like not lining up. I know that's right. Really weird, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, I know what happened. I went through the speed holes. Always an opportunity for something to go bad. So just be careful. Don't force it. If it doesn't want to fit, that's okay. But you know, some people will let anything go in there, and you can always identify those people and interact with them accordingly. All right, not through the speed hole. These big giant holes let any screw just go in there, any bolt, whatever. Get that exactly where I need it to be. All right. So yeah, definitely a longer screw would be better there. Now we just line up the other two. Here's one. Goes in like that. And 2. Goes in like that. And 3. And like I said, definitely let's consider getting some bigger bolts and then tightening this up again, which means, yep, you'll have to remove it. So it's probably better to take the wheel apart a couple times. Also, the bolts that were on here originally used some Loctite. Probably not a bad idea. If you never want to take this apart again, use red, but you're gonna want to take this apart because this is not the natural configuration. At some point you'll want to access this. Maybe your cable breaks or you want to sell the wheel. Don't mess up your life with red Loctite. All right, so this will go on there like this. Darn, look, I messed it up again. Gonna have to start editing videos if I don't get this right, man. All right, so remember we said we can't put this right here because it'll block the USB-C port? Yeah. Let's undo it and get it right. And this is just the kind of thing you have to be patient with, man. Can't spend a bunch of time beating yourself up for getting it wrong. It takes more time to come up with bad things to say about yourself than to just do it. Or, as I say, don't let a few screws keep you from a good time. All right. So the orientation of this is what needs to change. I need it to be actually to the side, like 30 degrees. Like that. No! Take all your screws out. Just do them one at a time. Through that spacer, into the hole, line it up, put it in the hole, man. Sorry friends, I know this is not the most terribly interesting video, but folks needed to see. I'm going to make sure my orientation is correct this time. Catastrophic. Okay, so I know the round part of my QR is at the top. I know that I need this off to the side, and I know I need a hole at the top like that. So I need to turn this 30 degrees like that. So this is the orientation that I actually need to have. Probably also means my cable's not long enough, just barely. Nope. I need the bottom to reach here. It's just fine. I just need to not put the cable at the bottom. So let's try and hold this in place, then hold this in place, then put one screw in. Also, if you're doing this on a table, sometimes it's easier. One bolt through. A longer bolt would be great. Don't have it. Work with what you got. All right, got that. Nothing quite like a long video where someone just makes mistakes repeatedly so that you can see all the pitfalls that await you and then not make all those mistakes when your turn comes up. If you guys are familiar with Gomez Sim Industries, they're very big now, very awesome. But you know, they used to not be as big, probably still awesome at that point. But they used to record the builds and live stream them on Twitch of their handmade custom wheels, which was something. So there's another thought. 3, but this hole is not usable. So what I'm going to do is not use this one. I will use these spaced holes because I cannot use this slot here. That's where the cable's coming out. I deleted it. So Fortunately for me, the spacer is threaded in all 6 positions. Meaning, you know what though? That would also mean I'd have to put a screw here at the bottom. Better leave all these mistakes in the video. So what I'm gonna do is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. I'll just find another bolt that is exactly that, because basically those are the only 4 spaces I could use. This one's blocked and this one's blocked. I think that'll be okay, but you know, check your manufacturer specifications to be sure. I'm sure 3 is fine if they are spaced appropriate. Sorry, spaced appropriately, but 4, I'm sure you'd want that to be symmetrical, and definitely probably want longer screws in this case. So sometimes you have an idea, you think it's going to work, and then you try and it doesn't work out the way you expect. So 3 like this, definitely not okay. 4 like this, probably okay. 4 like this, sus, man. Got a little bucket full of screws that's not magnetized, but I need an M5. We'll use the shiny one, it'll be okay. M5 socket head. Goes in like that, twists in like that. All right, so get my hands free and show you what I did. Bottom one's blocked. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's blocked by a cable. So it may have been prudent to use something like this so that I get more holes. And you know, I can certainly make this again or just use this. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and light this thing up. I know the cable works, or at least used to work. Maybe I broke it when I got kinky with it. Hope not. Usually kink is something you want to do with a device or a person that you want to continue having a relationship with. You never know. Let's make sure these are tight. And then you ask people why they want to see all the stuff you did. It's like, you didn't really want to see it. You just wanted a 30-minute video. Well, that's what you got. So now you got to connect this cable back up. You're sitting in your sim rig instead of being on a table. You got to figure that part out. Also, the lighting here is better for my face than it is for seeing these little things here. We got to connect this cable, so I apologize. Sorry, I'm whispering as if that's going to make this more careful. I apologize for not having appropriate lighting for myself and having lighting so that you can see the expression of frustration on my face. Tell you what though, I'm not even going to connect this cable because I'll be taking this apart one more time to get those screws in correctly. So you put it on like that, and then you plug your cable in like that. And there you are. Bob's your uncle. Uncle Bob needs to put some screws in. If your Uncle Bob says he needs to put screws in, let him do that. Let him cook. He's about to make a meal. And this is probably one issue that I had anticipated and just said, don't worry about it. Which is why you need a ball end screw. Demonstrate to you here, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Right here. See where that, geez. Let's tighten these up for catastrophe. Just enough to keep thing from falling out. You can see where, if I put it close to the camera, that cable comes really close to that screw, but a ball end screw lets you tighten that at an angle, and then you'll be just fine. So yeah, I'll go back to a table and replace these long screws, and this USB-C cable needs to get connected at the bottom, and then maybe put some Loctite on there, and then that'll be the end of that. So not going to change a thing about this video. I think you need to see all the mistakes and all the fun I had. So next time I'll still be Marlin. This will still be MV Pip and Cross Sim Racing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.